When we are born and take our place as men and women, are raised. Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself today. I am glad we have another opportunity to come and have another discussion, an important discussion about our beloved country and continent, in Africa. Today, we are going to be analyzing some issues that has gone on in Ghana. Um, I probably will play some sound bites, but I'm not too sure. But the most important thing is we are here today to have this discussion. And so I want to take this opportunity to um, thank you for being a part of Analyze This today. Before we jump on to our discussion, um, as I always say on this platform, we don't entertain insults. We don't argue on this platform, we discuss. On this platform, we make sure that whatever questions and issues that are raised here would be discussed, because we don't shy from dissenting opinions. If you have a different opinion from us, we believe that as we discuss, we would be able to learn from each other and make an impact in our communities. We don't seem to have all the solutions here, but we believe that as we share ideas and discuss with amongst ourselves, we should be able to come up with a better solution, because when you put heads together or when you put ideas together, the outcome is always positive. And so that is what we do on this platform. And then finally, creativity and inventions are not by the color of one's skin. I want to repeat, creativity and inventions are not by the color of one's skin, but by an educated mind. So don't be blown away when you see anything creative. Don't be blown away when you see anything you believe is over the moon. It was created by a human being. It was created by a human being just like you, not the color of one's skin, but by an educated mind, irrespective of the color of your skin. If you educate your mind, if you educate yourself, you should be able to create. With that being said, today, we'll be talking about, I don't know how long we're gonna go, but it's gonna be an exciting one. This week, yes, somewhere this week, I saw a video by circulating on the social media, and I believe one of my friends posted it on my page, on my Facebook page, and it was by Dr. Mensa Ortebel. We'll talk about that video. We'll also talk about the Black Stars game. We'll talk about that too. Most people know I don't do soccer or football, as we call it in Ghana. But today we'll talk about the Black Stars games with Sudan. We'll talk about that today. And then we're also going to talk about, of course, the issue that has been trending for some time now, the Galamsey issue. I must say that I'm seriously glad that finally some voices are being added to the already um, loud voices out there to fight against the illegal mining in Ghana. Um, I hear some arguments. Some people say, let's put a ban, let's declare a state of emergency on mining. Let's put a ban on mining general per se, so we can um, go back to the drawing board and see where we can tweak all those rules and policies and what have you to be able to be responsible in or bring some sanity in the mining sector, which I believe all arguments are good. The most important thing is the authorities would put heads together and sift through all the ideas and see which way would be best for the nation Ghana. From my perspective, I believe that it is lack of supervision. We have a whole I believe the natural resources and what have you brought. We have the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. We have a whole bunch of institutions that were supposed to be responsible by playing an oversight role, by making sure these miners are mining within the guidelines and within the stipulated rules, mining rules of the land. But it looks as if all these institutions have failed. Not that it looks as if they have failed, because we wouldn't have gotten this far by these illegal miners destroying the water bodies and destroying the fertility of our land and our forests. So I would want to encourage that even as we are looking at the whole um, perspective of illegal mining, we should also make sure that we strengthen the oversight bodies, the oversight institutions, the institutions that have been mandated to make sure the right things are done. It is very important. There's one thing that I will talk about when we get into the soccer issue, which is our understanding of law and order. It has to be drilled into the minds of people, understanding of law and order. So we need to empower these institutions who are playing the oversight roles and make sure they have all it takes to be able to guide and direct and supervise these mining in the forests. Because if we don't do that, because none of them is working, none of those institutions is working from the look of things, none, zero, none of them is working. So I believe that we would have to channel some of our energy to equipping these institutions so they would be up and doing and be able to guide and direct and make sure that responsible mining, gold mining is done um, um, in the rural areas of Ghana. So I want to take this opportunity and really applaud all those bodies that are speaking out. The youth hit the streets and they were demonstrating against the illegal mining, which was a good thing. A few things went wrong, which we don't subscribe on this platform. Um, Violence would never solve any problem. I don't care how you look at it, violence would not solve a problem. And I also believe that if you are demonstrating against lawlessness, people who are mining, who are not mining within the laws of the land or within the frame of the legal framework of the land, And so it means you are criticizing or you are fighting or you're demonstrating against lawlessness. I don't expect you to be lawless. I don't expect you to be lawless. Especially, there was one gentleman, I believe the name is Raf, which I want to believe that this gentleman should bow his head in shame for a statement he made, which was uncalled for, which was unpatriotic. That is the point that I was worried about when this man was telling somebody, I don't care if some of these stupid Ghanaians die. What will happen? I mean, such a person, you want to convince me that such a person is fighting for the interest of the nation? I doubt it. I doubt it. If you're really fighting for the interest of the nation, such utterance should not be made. You don't have to spew such nonsense out of your lips. It really doesn't make sense. So please, in as much as we want the youth to speak up, in as much as we want people to demonstrate, in as much as we want people to go picketing, in as much as we want people to stand up and make sure the right thing is done, let us stay within the framework of the law. You cannot step out of the law to bring somebody to book. It does not work that way. So we want to encourage people. Let us stay within the ambience of the law. Let us stay within the legal framework of our lands and demand for the right thing to be done. But as I said, I was so disappointed in that gentleman. And I don't do this on my platforms. I don't mention names, but in this particular instance, I mentioned his name because I was so disappointed. And I really want to point out to the youth that these are not people you should look up for leadership. These are not people who means good. These are people who are just chasing clout. They want the fame. They want people to know them. They want to do this just for the attention. That's it. Because if you really, really, really want to fight for the nation as he speaks, and I've been listening to him, he speaks so brilliantly, so eloquently, so charismatic. But that statement tells me it canceled everything for me. It canceled everything for me because you cannot tell me you were fighting for Ghanaians and then you tell me some of the Ghanaians should die because they are stupid. It does not cut it for me. It doesn't cut it for me. I don't know what you think, but if you have a dissenting opinion, you can table it. I'm monitoring Facebook. So if you have any questions, any contributions, any dissenting opinion, you can table it and we'll discuss it. But that did not cut it for me at all. And if we are grooming a generation of leaders to exercise leadership, that should not be entertained. That gentleman needs to sit down, bow his head in shame, go back to the drawing board, educate himself before he comes up to lead and to decide that he want to take up the mantle of leadership in any sphere of the youth development in Ghana. Other than that, that is not going to work. All right. So with that being said, I want to jump on to Dr. Mensah Odebel's message that came out in the course of the week. I don't know when that message was preached or but I got that message last week. And I must say that I was so excited when I heard that message. I was so excited when I heard that message because I think it's long overdue. It is long overdue. The craziness going on amongst the so-called men of God in Ghana, it's going overboard. It's going overboard. And just last week, I saw one pastor calls himself a prophet, sitting behind the cameras and saying stuff that I can't even speak. I can't even speak out of my lips. You know, and they tell themselves and tell people the fact that I'm a pastor does not mean when you insult me, I'm just going to keep quiet. I'm going to insult you back. And it makes me cringe. And I don't know about you, but I would never, never sit under the ministration of such a person. No, I would never sit under the ministration of such a person. That person can never be my pastor. I will not listen to any preaching that comes out of him. I am not being judgmental here. And even if I am, I would love to be in this case. Why? Because there's a standard. You see, and then they call themselves men of God. Men of God. And that's the part that I believe they don't even understand. The moment you call yourself a man of God, you are separating yourself from the rest of the people. So it is believed that you got to be the mouthpiece of God. It is believed that you have to teach us the godly ways. That is why you're called a man of God. It is believed that you would have to teach us the right way according to the Bible. I'm just talking about the pastors, so I'm not going to bring in any other faith. I'm talking about the pastors, so that is why I refer to the Bible. So if you are telling me that you're a man of God, certain standard has been set for you. Don't come tell me you're a man of God, but I'm a man first before a man of God. Get out of that kitchen. It is not for you. It is not for you. And if it is truly that you are a man of God, called by God, then go back. Go back to God and let him work on you. Because you're not fit to come teach me the things of God. If such utterances can be made by people who claim to be men of God. So I'm so excited. I am super excited. I believe that it will not just be Dr. Mensah Odebel, but most of these preachers will pick up this mantle and begin to run with it. Let us speak the truth to these people. Let us speak the truth to these people. Sometimes you hear people say, oh, it's my truth, your truth, and there is nothing like my truth and your truth. I want to repeat this. There is nothing like my truth and your truth. There is only one truth. There is only one truth. So it's either your perception or your perspective or my perception or my perspective. That's it. And your perception and your perspective may not be the truth. And you see, we legitimize people's perception by saying it is my truth. We add truth to their perception to legitimize what they are saying or their experience. It is wrong. You don't have a truth if it is not the truth. And so we need to make sure that we tell the truth to some of the charlatans who are parading themselves as men of God or as pastors, taking undue advantage of the people. It is a shame. And sometimes I really don't understand where they get the boldness to come and spew such and still walk around with the audacity calling themselves men of God. And some of them would even pride themselves in the fact that they have sharper teeth and sharper mouths. And they can insult you. They can dress you down. Jesus. And then you're going to use the same lips and the same mouth to come preach to me the godly ways. Which godly ways do you know to preach to me about? Which godly ways do you know to preach to me about? If you cannot even discipline yourself, if you cannot live up to the standards, the reason you're called a man of God is because there are certain standards set for you. There's certain things I may be able to do, or some people may be able to do, you cannot do. You need to subject your will to the disciplines of your calling. You just can't do anything anyhow and come and explain to me, oh, I'm a man. If you think I'm a man of God, there's blood running through my veins. Give me a break. Nobody says it's milk running through your veins. We all know blood runs through everybody's veins. But every office has a standard. There are certain demands you got to meet if you want to parade yourselves as men of God or women of God. There are certain standards. And if you think you can't meet those standards, get out. Get out. You see, and this is why religion is becoming unattractive to the young ones. This is why religion is becoming unattractive to the young ones. And I even have nephews and nieces and friends who are questioning the existence of God because the so-called men of God are out of standards. They don't see any value you bring to the table if you choose to be a religious person. Because if the man who is supposed to be the man of God, who is supposed to teach you what you're supposed to be doing, is not living according to the standard, how do you expect them to follow the same trend? It is rather unfortunate. So I want to say kudos to Dr. Mensah Otabil. And I want to believe that more of such messages will come out. And I know it's not just him. There are a whole bunch of some of the pastors in Ghana who believes in that particular message. But I want to encourage them to come out of their shells and be bold, to speak truth to some of these charlatans. Let's educate the people so they don't take undue advantage of them, because it's becoming too much. It's becoming too much. The craziness going on in the name of religion, in the name of Christianity, is becoming too much. It's a mess out there. And yet they still have followers. Education is very, very vital. I'm not talking about going to school. I used to have an uncle. I meant to sit face to face with this man and document some of the things I heard about him, but unfortunately, I couldn't do that before he passed. He had never been to school before. He doesn't know how to read and write. He wasn't literate. He was an illiterate, but he was an educated illiterate because he was using what is up here. He had educated himself, enlightened himself. And that is what all education is about, to be enlightened of your gifts and develop them to serve the needs within your community. Period. That's all education is about. I don't care about the level of your English grammar or what have you, or your French grammar, or the vocabularies you can spew out within a minute or whatever. It does not make any point. You could study all the things you want to study in the world. If you don't apply, or if it does not reflect on your enlightenment and your intelligence, it means nothing. It means nothing. You see, so they get all these uneducated people who still follow them. And they even have uneducated lawyers. I'm going to say this again, uneducated lawyers, uneducated doctors. Why? Because they would do some miracles for you. Wow. 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 They would perform some magic. You see, I'm gonna, all right. I'll say this, I'll explain this next Friday when I'm doing Leadership Academy. But life is not about miracles. Life is not a magic. It's not about miracles. Life is about laws, 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 LAWS. That is what life is about. So I don't care how many miracles you want to experience. I don't care how many magic you want to perform. If you don't follow the laws of life, you're still not going to make it. You're going to miss it. You're still not going to be successful. And that is one thing we got to understand. So please, let us educate ourselves. Let us educate ourselves. Let us enlighten ourselves and shy away from some of these charlatans who have no shame in doing shameful things. Some of these so-called men of God who have no shame, they're just after your money. They're just after your money. And they ask you to sow seed of that. Sow seed, sow seed, sow seed. Sow a painful seed. Go into your coffers and bring out the best out of your coffers and sow it to the man of God. It's all lies. It's all lies. Look, the so-called miracle, for all you know, for all you know, I'm not saying I don't believe in miracles, but the so-called miracle, for all you know, it's just a matter of time. That baby you thought you had that baby because a so-called man of God prayed for you. Probably it was just timely. Probably it was just timely. Probably had nothing to do with the so-called miracle you talked about. And especially when people of these dubious characters claiming to be men of God, praying for you. I wonder which kind of God they are serving and which kind of God is performing those miracles through them. So please, let us educate ourselves and shy away from these charlatans parading themselves to be men of God, going about duping people in the name of God. Please, it is important. Again, if you have any dissenting opinion, if you have any question, anything, you can let me check Facebook. Oh, that's my brother from another mother, Mr. Cossack. Oh, gee, man, that's my boss. Mr. Moon. Mr. Moon. And my brother from another mother. Alrighty, I don't have any questions on Facebook. I don't have any um, contributions or dissenting opinions to be discussed on Facebook. So I just want to move on. The last thing I want to talk about is the Black Stars game last week, or probably this week. Yeah. Yeah, we're still in today's Saturday. So this week, you see, I saw the issue about the stadia where none of them was suitable for to meet the FIFA standard. It's a shame, a nation like Ghana. It's a shame. It is a big shame that a nation like Ghana does not have one stadium, one that meets the standard, the FIFA standard, to the point that they were even contemplating on playing some of their games in Nigeria or Togo or Cote d'Ivoire. Again, my co-pilot, Prof, would say, what kind of country, what kind of society are we building? What kind of society are we building? What kind of country are we building? To the point that systems are not functioning. You see, corruption, corruption is the bedrock of all this chaos and mess in Ghana. And I believe some years back, Anas Arimiyao Anas, one of our undercover journalists, one of the heroes in journalism, exposed some of these corruption to the nation. But it seems nothing was done about it. I was listening to people yesterday, some commentaries where people are talking about. I heard a statement which made my head spin when somebody said, um, wherever Ghana needs to go to seek for spiritual help to explain what's going on with Black Stars, they have to take those steps. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you for real? Again, everything operates on laws. Everything. Everything operates on laws. There's a reason why it's called a team. There's a reason it is called a team. Go find out the meaning of a team. They didn't say individual talents or individual gifts. It is called a team. So I bring my part, you bring your part, and we gel it together for us to be successful. And I heard people blaming the coach, some blaming the players, some blaming the pitch. And I believe everybody might have a point. Some blaming the National Youth, whatever, Sports Council or whatever it's called, authority or whatever. The point is this. There is no shortcut to success in anything. Let us get this down our spine. Let it sink from the crown of our heads to our spine that there is no shortcut to success in anything. I believe when I was growing up, sometimes if you're walking with my dad and we'll be going through or we'll be going from point A to point B, and I'll be like, hey dad, I think there's a shortcut through this place too. And he'd be like, nope, nope, don't take a lazy approach to things. What if that shortcut leads you to your death? What if somebody is hiding over there to hit you with a stick or something? And to speak to shortcuts, even though sometimes it's better to use the shortest route. Nowadays we got GPS helping us to do that. But when it comes to the issues of life, there is what we call principles of process, process, process. And so you cannot bypass process and expect to be successful. So what are the processes? And you see, the problem with the soccer, Ghana soccer now did not just start. It's been decaying gradually, 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 because we don't have any system. We don't have any program. We don't have any process in place to produce a team. It's as simple as that. We ain't got no process in place to produce a team, period. We used to have the codes where people are groomed, where they recruit players. All those soccer academies, where are they now? And it's the same thing happening to politicians. We don't have a pool where a system is grooming the leadership to take up the mantle of power. So every time we scramble for somebody who is eloquent, we scramble for somebody who is dynamic, we scramble for somebody who is charismatic and lacks leadership. And I believe it's about time we start learning some of these basic principles of life. They are lost to everything. They're lost to everything. And we need to learn the laws to every entity we find ourselves in and begin to operate within those laws. Let us begin to operate within those laws. Other than that, we'll be running around in circles. Come every tournament, we're going to lose and come and blame somebody and go back and not do nothing and come back the next tournament, lose and go blame somebody. It's not going to help us. What kind of society are we building? Prof, I'm borrowing your words today. Yeah, he's busy somewhere, so he was not able to make it today. Initially, we decided not to even have analyzed this today, but at a point I was like, let me just come speak to the people. So let us make sure that we learn the laws of every entity we find ourselves in. Somebody was talking about the Sudanese team being able to hold Black Stars boot for boot. You know why? Because they had a team. We don't have a team. The Ghana Black Stars never had a team. They might have professionals, but never had a team. You take your time, you invest into the amenities, you invest into the human resources, you invest into training. camping. Invest in them. Let us begin to look at the holistic picture and stop this ad hoc approach to things, to solving issues. We need to overhaul that ministry, the National Sports Council or National Sports Authority, whatever it is called. We need to overhaul that institution. Institutions must begin to work. Systems must be put in place and begin to work. There has to be a company responsible for making sure that the grasses on the pitches are grown and they're cut and they're kept well for matches or for games. We have to make sure that money is invested in camping these players so they work as a team, play as a team. It is called a team for a reason. You can pick up the world best 11 to meet maybe with some what do they call it? Some premier team somewhere that have been playing good together, camping, training together. And you'd be shocked what they're going to do to the world best 11. And I believe the world best 11 some time back met with, I believe, Germany or something, one of those teams, and they lost. If my memory serves me right, I stand to be corrected. But I'm pretty sure I remember there was a time where they selected the world best 11 to play with either Germany or one of those countries, and they lost. You know why? There is power in teamwork. It's not called a team for nothing. There is power in teamwork. You need to groom people. You need to camp people, let them train for a longer period of time. Let them gel together. You know, when they play together for a longer period of time, when you camp them, you train them, it gets to a point where even when somebody, I remember Mohamed Polo was being interviewed the other time, and they were questioning him about his accurate passes, and especially he was doing that with Abdul Razak. And he said something. He said, anytime I got the ball, I know where Razak is going to be. And so even if I'm not looking up, I could still be looking away from his position, and I'll still pass the ball to him. That is teamwork. And it does not come out of magic. It does not come by chance. It does not come by miracle. It comes by training together for some time. There is no shortcut to success. You cannot wait till 3 months, 2 months, and gather players and think because they're professionals, they're playing on the world stage, and they have the ability to score a team that has been playing together for some time, that has been working together to gel as a team. You are joking. You are joking. So please, 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 the politicians who are managing the Ministry of or Youth and Sports, or the Ministry of Sports, or the National Sports Authority or Council, please let us be serious. If you really want to win some games, let us be serious. Let us nip corruption in the back when it comes to that particular ministry, because it's one of the most corrupted ministries in Ghana. And I even thought when ANALYZ did that expose, We're going to have people sit up and begin to probe further and begin to bring out the rot and the canker in that particular ministry. Instead, we had people shielding the corrupt ones and even turning against us. That is the country. That is the country we are building. That is the country we are building. So please, let those in power be up and doing. Let us be up and doing. Because it's not going to happen by magic. No prayer is going to solve that problem. Again, laws. You cannot bypass the laws within an entity and expect to be successful. If we want to win games, if we want to win our tournaments, let us invest. Let us invest in the players. Let us invest in the amenities. Let us invest in building stadia, international standard stadia. Let us have the institutions within that ministry be up and working, up and doing. The maintenance culture would have to be reignited into the system. It has to work if we want it to work. No prayer is going to solve the problem. No juju man or no incantation or nothing is going to solve the problem, except we go by what it takes to create a team by following the laws within that particular entity. That is the only thing. That is the only thing. And so if we don't go by that route, forget it. Yesterday, I heard people really mad, but Sudan is not a soccer nation, blah, blah, blah. How could Sudan hold Ghana to a draw? There is nothing like a soccer nation. For your information, there is nothing like a soccer nation. If people are serious and they're determined and they invest and they follow the rules and the laws of soccer, they're bound to be successful in soccer. So we need to invest. Number one, we need to make sure we invest in building stadia of international standard, making sure that institutions, the departments are working. Those responsible for this are working. Those responsible for that are working. And there has to be, above all, accountability. There has to be accountability. Until we do that, forget it. It ain't gonna happen. We'll be losing every tournament after every tournament. We need to learn and understand that there are laws operating in every sphere and every dimension of life. We got to have that at the back of our minds. And let us operate within those laws. And we're bound to be successful. It is as simple as that. Let us operate within those laws and we are bound to be successful. So yes, those blaming the coach, you can go ahead and blame the coach all you want. Those blaming the soccer players, you can go ahead and blame the soccer players all you want. Those blaming who and what, you can do that all you want. But at the end of the day, we need to attack the problem at its roots. We need to go to the roots. We cannot deal with the problem from the stem level. It's not going to work. How often do these players camp? How often do they play together? It is called a team for a reason. So we got to be serious. People, we got to be serious. We got to be serious and bring all hands on deck. I mean, people who are intelligent, who know about the soccer, who knows about how the game is played and won, and let everybody, all hands on deck, pitch in so we can fix this problem. No prayer is going to fix it. No juju man is going to fix it for us, or juju woman is going to fix it for us. Nothing is going to work until we begin to do what is right, the right thing. That is the only way out. So if we really want to have our soccer back, or our football, as we call it, back, we need to do some investments. The investments that were done in those days that held the Black Stars for a while is gone. The investment has worn out. There was no momentum to sustain that investment. So it's died out. And that's what we're seeing now. So we need to go back and do the investments in the human capital. We need to do the investment in infrastructure. We need to do the investment in the scouting of soccer players. And if we're able to put all of these together and you get a good coach, you're bound to win. On that note, I would want to end today's Analyze This by saying that let us understand that every entity on earth operates within a certain law. So if you want to be successful in that entity, find out that law and operate within the ambience of that law, and you're bound to be successful. I want to thank you for your time invested in Analyze This today. What do I have here? Okay, so I think I still have. Oh, I believe I am right. If I'm seeing right, that's Antisalo watching. Okay. I think I see Benita Dennis watching. All right. Thank you all for investing your time into Analyze This today. We spoke about Dr. Mensa Otabil's message on the charismatic church. We spoke about the Black Stars games, and we spoke about Galamsey. And we hope that we would all rise up and do the right thing and make sure Ghana becomes a better place, and make sure Africa becomes a better place, and make sure our world becomes a better place. My name is Nana Osei Bonsu Jr. of Africa International Organization and Serto Leadership International. Thank you. Same time, we're going to be here next week, 1 o'clock, to discuss issues about Africa and Ghana as a whole. Friday, you can catch us on Leadership Academy at 6 p.m. US time, and I believe it's 10 p.m. Ghana time, where we'll discuss issues of leadership. And pretty soon, I'm going to be talking about my book, the second book. I'll be discussing certain chapters and certain pages of the book. So if you want to get on a scope of what's in the book, you can catch me up. I'll put up the commercials ahead of time, so we all know and come together and discuss some of these things. Once again, thank you so much. See you again next week, same time. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.